YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So, what are we going to do today? We are going to do a really inexpensive and easy craft that not only will look lovely in your kitchen, but would also make a really fun hostess gift for those hay rides and harvest parties, or just even Thanksgiving. So, stay tuned and we'll get started on this fun fall craft. So I shared some of items that I had purchased in an earlier video haul, and one of the things that I did get is from Temu. And y'all, if you don't want to shop at Temu, don't shop at Temu. I don't want to hear about it. Because sometimes I do. So these are actually called toilet stickers. And I shared that this was kind of delivered in a little bit of a crinkled up method, but the actual image does not appear to be impaired in any way, shape, or form. So I have chosen this. It is kind of a Halloween spooky, but it's not like witches and bats and such. Y'all, they have toilet stickers for anything you can possibly think of. And while I enjoy the Halloween decor, I thought, well, I'd kind of like to have fall, and what I purchased is, to me, more Halloween. I mean, I think it's okay for fall, but then if I want to carry it into Thanksgiving, do I want something a little different? So I've ordered, but it takes about 10 days, guys, like an autumn wreath decal. So what am I going to stick it to? Well, y'all, you know, cutting boards are widely available in thrift stores, at the Goodwill, in my pantry stash. So there's a couple kinds. You know, there's, this one is bamboo, and I have 3 of these, and I thought, oh, this would be perfect. However, the sticker's too big. So this might work for the wreath, but it will not work for the house. So I recently got myself a pizza steel, which is, if you're going to cook pizza directly on the rack, it's what you slide underneath it, or if you want to take it off the pan. So I have this, which came from Pampered Chef, and y'all, I don't use it. It is kind of double-sided. There is a little bit, this is China. Pampered Chef, y'all. Don't fuss at me about the Temu stuff. And then it has the Pampered Chef here. I don't believe this has any coating on it. If it does, I'm sure it is food safe. However, before I actually adhere the sticker, what I would like to do is do a little sanding just to knock off a little bit of the shine. And if yours is rougher, like this one I wouldn't need to, this is obviously not coated, you probably don't have to do that. So I'm going to use a gator sanding block, and then when I finish that up, I'm going to use a tack cloth. So what is a tack cloth? It's a piece of gauze that's impregnated with something sticky. I was going to see if it said what. Where's the English version? Okay, well, it doesn't say. I almost think it's like a beeswax type thing. So I'm gonna take this outside because it makes a big mess when you sand, and just give this a very, very light sanding. And then we're gonna add a little color, so it's a little bit different than this. And then we'll adhere and embellish and do all the things. So I know my last video was really long, y'all. When I do videos over 2 days, I tend to forget that when you put it all together, it's a lot. So I apologize about that. Today's will be a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna go sand and tack cloth outdoors. And you do wanna use the tack cloth. If you don't have tack cloth, my recommendation would be to take a lint-free towel or paper toweling that's low lint, use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and wipe it down that way. Otherwise, you can end up with those little gritty bumps in your end project. All right, guys, stay tuned. All right, I'll just ignore all the things in the front of the picture here. So I did go ahead and get some Waverly chalk paint in pumpkin. I did find it at Walmart, $7.98 a bottle, but y'all, you don't use much, or I don't use much at a time. So, you know, this will last when properly capped for many seasons to come. So this is a matte chalk paint, and it does have a seal, wouldn't you know? I'll show you all my favorite tool. If you have hand trouble, you need some needle nose pliers. So I had actually gotten these from my mom, and when she passed away, I kept them because, you know, I just had really good memories of how appreciative she was with it. Let me get this paint off here so I don't mess up my needle nose, guys. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm choosing orange. You could use a white, you could use a light gray, but we are going to dry brush. So I just have a large, like a chippy brush. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some paint on the brush, but then I'm going to get rid of most of it. And I know that seems wasteful. However, to me, that's the best way. So now this may end up being a little brighter than what I want. So you can certainly brush it on and then rub it off. Let me grab another paper towel. Wipe it back a little bit. So sanding, I'm sure you all know, see, that just gives it a nice little pumpkin shade. You want to go in the direction of the grain. I did get a little bit off. You know, I've actually used this item with its intended use, so I didn't know if maybe there might be some pizza grease on it or something that I didn't really want on it that would keep the sticker from adhering, or the transfer, or just something where the paint would not adhere, because both of those things can happen if the surface is oily. So put it on, wipe it off. If it's really heavy, y'all use a baby wipe, but I like the orange color. And you can see there's a few, well, I don't know if you can see it, there's a few cut marks where I've used a pizza wheel on this. So there's that, but this is a repurpose. So you can call it shabby chic, you can call it rustic. I think this would make a neat gift for a person for Christmas that likes to do a lot of hosting. You know, I know charcuterie boards are so 2023, but I still like having them. Now, what I would do if I wanted to use this, and I will, as a charcuterie board, I'm going to actually cover it before I put food on it with just some saran wrap. You know, just something to protect the surface, because I can't guarantee that this is food safe paint. You could seal it with a food grade, food safe varnish, I guess, or shellac or polyurethane. But this is more for show than it is for actual use. So it's turning a lovely pumpkin color. You can see the difference. Some of you may like it plain better, but I actually like the little bit of color. Gives it a little something, something extra. And y'all, I'm proud of you. I only had to delete one comment of a person who said, you're obviously dyslexic. Sometimes you painted with your right hand, sometimes you painted with your left. We've been over that before. And no, I'm not dyslexic. I just, you know, I think it's what you get used to. And I consider it a blessing to be able to use both hands in case one of mine goes out of commission. And it certainly spares my thumb. So any fine detail work, I will usually go ahead and just use my right hand. if I can hold the brush, because I've got a lot of limitations in my thumb. Not complaining, just a fact. So we're almost finished. You see how simple this is? I am not going to do both sides of this in this orange color, nor am I going to do the edges because it's finished wood. And the reason for that is I want to wait until I get my autumn wreath sticker, transfer toilet sticker. I hate calling it a toilet sticker. It just sounds like something you shouldn't be putting on a charcuterie board, right? I just want to make sure that that color would be right. So I'm going to build this in such a way where it's easy to take apart. I can flip it over, and maybe I'll want to use a different ribbon. So I'll show you how we'll attach the ribbon. So really you're limited only by your imagination. I've had this sitting out on my counter for years, literally, feeling guilty because I never use it, because I didn't care for it, to be honest. I have a problem usually if I'm cooking a frozen pizza, a non-homemade pizza. It just goes right through the grates in the oven, the racks. So I didn't have much call for a pizza peel, but it makes a great charcuterie board. All right. Now I do want to let this dry just a minute, but here's what we have thus far. Again, you could do it on the bare wood. You would not have to use color. And you could use any color really that you want or what matches your transfer. So I'm gonna give this just a minute to dry. I'm gonna wash out my brush, and then we'll adhere the sticker. I'm gonna show you hopefully how easily it will go on, and we'll make a pretty bow, and we will have a project done in a very short time. So if you have several family members you want to make it for, super simple, super fast, and not expensive. Stay tuned. Now that our board has had some chance to dry, I am going to take a look here and see how I want to position this. So since the roof can easily be in the middle, I am going to grab a pencil. And guys, I'm not going to measure this. I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to make two little bitty pencil marks right here where I want this to be. And that should work out. So cost. These are under $2. I think they're $1.78 through Temu. There may be other craft supply places that you prefer, and that's absolutely fine. You could use rub-on transfers. You could create something with your Cricut vinyl. I just thought this was a really simple way to pretty up something. Oh, please come out. So there isn't, I don't know if y'all can see, there isn't a whole bunch of detailed little tiny pieces, and it does have a white border, or it looks as though, oh, nope, it's not, it's clear. So I would say just peel very slowly. Try not to do that. All right, well that was super simple. So it's much more translucent than it appeared on the page. So I can see my two little marks, and I'm gonna kind of try to fold this because I don't know how many chances we will have. It's pretty sticky, y'all. I'm just gonna rub the bubbles out as I go so I don't end up trapping a big bubble in the middle. And I don't think the wrinkle issue is an issue. That's good. Didn't want to waste my $1.78. So this is not a rub-on transfer. It's actually a sticker. That's why they're called toilet stickers. Y'all forever laugh at that. Oh my word, does that look cool. All right, guys. Oh, the glare is awful. There we go. What do you think? It might be a little closer over to this side, but that's okay. Because I put the middle of the house in the middle of the thing. So we're fine, we're good. Now what I want to do is I want to make a bow. Now I have a lot of picks, ribbons, odds and ends. I have some leaves. I have this glittery thing I'm not so sure about. I have these pretty orange things I got from the Dollar Tree. But y'all, there's so many ribbon options. Now I believe this did come from Hobby Lobby. So this is more of a brown, gold, and orange. You could go for something more that would fit with the kitchen. So like these 3 ribbons together would also work depending on the decal that you're going to use. And I may actually use this to make the second ribbon when I get my second decal. But for now, let's find all of our things. So what are you gonna need? Well, you're going to need, I'm gonna use a bow maker, y'all, because I just do better with it. So you're gonna need some wired ribbon, to me does the best, and whatever embellishments, pardon me, that you want to use. I'm not sure about these. Not a huge fan of glitter. Not really sure why I bought those. But we shall see. All right, so you're gonna need a zip tie. And y'all, I have a terrible time remembering which way the zip tie locks, and it's, you put the point into the flat end. So it's flat out easy if you put it in the flat end. That's how I'm gonna remember it. So I don't want super long tails that are gonna cover up our design. Ooh, there's a little bit of a wrinkle in that. You know, probably the little Cricut smoother would be a good thing to use. I'll grab that. So this, I got for $1. It was probably from like a Goodwill or a thrift store of some sort. So I'm not gonna make super long tails. Which one do I want first? I think I want the Harlequin first. I've been dying to use this. So if you're not good at making bows, you can actually hold them in your hand to do this. It's usually a disaster for me because, y'all, my thumb only bends so far, and it's not a happy thumb. So the way this thing works, this is an easy bow maker, is you simply slide your ribbon in, and that's all the tail I'm gonna leave. So that says it's 5 inches. That doesn't look that big to me, but, and then you wanna start building your loops. So this could take a pretty good size bow. So I'm gonna do, this is not a ton of ribbon. So let's see here. You wanna make sure your pretty side is up. So we're gonna start with a 5-inch loop, and then I twisted this already, y'all, just out of habit. Make the next, just like that, 5 inches. And I'm gonna do 2 sets of each. Ooh. So I may end up using this whole thing. I found some more of this that I must have purchased, you know, who knows where. Y'all don't even talk to me about how many craft supplies I have, but it had glitter on it. And what I plan to do with this is I'm gonna sit it up. Now it's too tall to go between the counter and the cabinet, but I have a space around the window. I think it'll work, or I can just use it as a display tray. So let's put in our 4th loop, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the tail. Hopefully a little more even than I did. Oh boy. Guys, I'm just gonna tell you, I've been on the struggle bus with my back. It's not that I can't do anything, it's just been a little bit more of a challenge, and I had to really like get extremely stern with myself this morning because I didn't feel like doing a video, but I really wanted to make this real. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but only this time, and I don't know if I said this, there's inch marks on this. I'm going to do about the same length of tail. So let's, nope, it goes this way. But I'm going to make each loop about an inch shorter. Now, I know there's a new model of this. Y'all, this works absolutely fine for me. I don't need a new model. Let's see, yep, that's 4 inches. So I'm just gonna use what I have. One thing I will say is the Dollar Tree ribbon, it's a little thinner. So you may have to, in effect, use more. So a lot of times what I like to do is check out the clearance rack. At end of season, Hobby Lobby has a great one, ribbon. I do not have a good Michaels. I don't know what's wrong with that Michaels store. It's always a mess and understocked, and the people are about as friendly as a serial killer. Sorry, Michaels, clean up your store. All right, so we've got our 4 down, and maybe you all see why I think this is such a great little invention. Here was another ribbon I had, had pulled out that, you know, would also work, that's kind of festive. So just grab what you have. Now, what I want to do is I want to put a zip tie to hold this bow together, then we're going to fluff it, and then I also need to put a pipe cleaner under the zip tie. So do not forget and over tighten it. Now what did I do as a zip tie? Oh, struggle bus. All right, we'll just grab another one. I'm sure it's right here and I can't see it, but okay. Well, maybe. Okay. So again, flat side is the flat out right way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slide, because I've squished this up pretty tight. I'm gonna slide the ribbon up a little bit so I can get the zip tie underneath. And you do not lock this down tight if you wanna put the pipe cleaner or the chenille stem in. I'm just gonna kind of gather it so it doesn't end up a big mess. And then, oh, there's my zip tie. Use your chin. I'm gonna put, you want this right in the middle where all the little creases are. I'm gonna stick the pipe cleaner through. And then, well, let's try to get that kindly even, Kym. We'll pull it up tight. So we have something to adhere it to the board. Now, we don't have a bow piece in the middle, but I'm gonna put in some picks, I guess you would say, and if we need to, we can glue those down. So once you have your bow together, now the fun begins. So what you wanna do is pull and twist and fluff. That's what makes, in my opinion, the prettiest bow. When I do my wreaths, y'all, I can spend hours fluffing wreaths. It's the fun part of it to me. So we're just fluffing them out. With fiddle fingers. Something I don't think I've ever shared with you. My grandma, my mother's mother, my grandma Victoria, she had caught her finger in a wringer washer and really, really, really messed it up. I don't know how else to say it. And that woman never let that slow her down. And it happened to be her middle finger, but she just went on about her business and chores because there really wasn't an option for, you know, what she could do about it. She'd never had surgery, did not ever have surgery in her life, and was very afraid of that possibility. So she didn't want any part of that. Okay, so let's find our tails. I'm gonna put a couple up and a couple down. And then I am not going to trim these off or dovetail them until I get them actually on here and see, you know, kind of what I think, how I like it. This one's kind of hiding. So there you have it. Not bad for a quickie little bow. All right. So we do need to cut our zip tie off. And then, oh, I guess we should turn it around. Guys, I told you. I think it actually looks more correct this direction. Yeah, this may not need a lot of foo-foo extra stuff. I'm just going to pipe cleaner it around. Now you could zip tie it, you know, for a more permanent solution, but I already know that this is probably going to come off when I flip it around for Thanksgiving. So here's where we are so far. Very pretty. Time for some more fluffing. I probably could get that a little tighter. Yes, ma'am. Now for my tails, what I do is I fold them in half and I cut towards the wire, from the center towards the wire. And if you end up with a flat point, just trim it a little bit more. I try not to cut the wire with my scissors just because it's so hard on your scissors, but sometimes you have to. So there's our two orange and black tails. Let's do our polka dotted ones. Ooh. Almost there, guys. And that one tail may be a little bit long. Just kind of look here. Actually, I think it'd be all right if we put it back there. And really, the way I fluff the bow, I don't think we need extra. Oh, guys, are you hurt? Oh, no. See what a day on the struggle bus is like? Hang on. Apologize. On the struggle bus. So I'm going to add just a little bit of the berries, but what do y'all think? I think it is absolutely an adorable project. So fast and easy. I think it's going to be a nice addition to holiday get-togethers through the harvest, fall, Thanksgiving season, and then we'll flip it over, turn the bow around, change the bow up. You can reuse the bow for another project and put our fall wreath on that will carry us through November until it's time to decorate for Christmas. So thank you all for joining me today. I apologize that I was a little bit on the struggle bus, but you know, YouTube is a lot more work than I think a lot of people think it is, and I'm not asking for sympathy. This is my choice. But I would just say, you know, as you watch any YouTube channel, be kind and realize that some days we're all on the struggle bus. So I plan to see you all on Saturday. I'm going to give a little teaser here. My bestie and I have some plans for next week. We're going to go on Tuesday, so pardon me. Well, shoot, the video probably won't be until a week from today, but we're going to have fun. So that's all I'm going to tell you this time. All right, guys, until I see you again, do me a big favor if you would. Smash that like button and be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.